Hello, if you're watching this video, you're looking to see how to do doors, different types of windows, and some wall textures. So, you should have a box like this. So you've got your corner edge, you've got your left side and your right side, you've got your horizon line, and then you've got your left and right vanishing points. So, what we're going to work towards is we're going to learn how to make doors. I'm going to show you how to do a couple different types of windows, and then bricks. Okay? So something to keep in mind, anything that you draw on the left side of your building, all the lines go back to the left vanishing point. Anything that you draw on the right side of your building, all the lines go back to the right vanishing point. So right now, I'm going to make a door on my right side. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how tall I want my door to be. Okay? In order to do that, I'm going to make a guideline going from this vanishing point across my right side. So what I'm doing is putting my ruler on that vanishing point, and then I think I want my door to be about this high. So I'm going to draw a very light line like that. Okay? So now that I have the height of my door, I'm going to decide how wide I want it to be. So I could put my ends like this, two vertical lines, and have my door this wide, or I could bring my lines in, and maybe I want to have a skinny door, or 3 doors, whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to do a wide double door here. Okay, so I have my height, and then I'm going to take my ruler, make sure your lines are straight, and I'm just going to come a little bit away from the edge of my building. So there's the left side of my door, and then I've got the right side of my door. Okay, so now that I know the top of my door is set for the height, I'm just going to press in a little bit more, and I've got my doorway here. Okay? Remember, anytime you want to draw a parallel, vertical, up and down line, it's going to be straight. So in order to separate these two doors, I'm just make a straight up and down vertical line and separate my doors. Okay? Say I want to do a little border around my doors. I've got a little bit of area here, a little bit of area here, and I want to do it up here. So I'm just going to come up just a little bit above the top of the door. And I'm actually going to draw a line straight across. And now I've got a border around my door here. And I'm just shading it so you can see it a little bit better. Okay? Now I'm going to put some handles on here. Remember, everything has to go back to a vanishing point. So I'm going to line up my vanishing point. And I'm going to line up a line where I want my door handles. I think I'm going to just make 2 straight across door handles like that. Okay? So you don't want to just draw them straight across. They've got to be angled back to that vanishing point. Okay? So there's how we do a door. Maybe for a window, you want to do a curved window. Okay? So same thing we do with the doors. We have to figure out how tall you want your window to be. So we're on the right side. I'm going to line up on the right vanishing point. I think I want my curved window to be about this high. So I'm going to draw a really light line just to let me know where the top of this window is going to be. Then I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to just start to gently curve my window so the top of my window is at the height of that line. Okay? Then these little guidelines, I don't need those anymore. I'm going to get rid of them. Okay? So I've got a window like that. And then maybe you want to do a couple different types of windows. So you can have windows like this that have space in between them. You can have a big window. You could have kind of these skyscraper type windows. You could have windows touching each other. So I'm just going to do a couple different types. So if you want windows that are close together like this, we're going to make lines that go back to the right vanishing point right here. So I'm going to start at the point right above my window here, make a line. Then I'm going to actually put my ruler above so I can see the difference. Make a line. I'm still on that point. Make a line. Make a line. So remember to always use the steps of two-point perspective. Don't just look at your paper and go, oh, it needs to go straight across. It's all got to go back and converge to that point. Okay? So now I could leave my window designs like this, but I kind of want to make some separate windows. Okay? So I think I'm going to leave this top part empty. And then I want to have some space between this corner edge and my first set of windows. So I'm going to line up my ruler, and I'm going to make a light line like this. So I'm going to eventually erase all those lines. Now I want to figure out how wide I want my windows to be. Do I want them to be really wide? Do I want them to be skinny? I think I want them to be kind of skinny. So again, I'm going to do a light line like that. Then I'm going to put a little bit of space in between because I'm going to erase lines like this. Scoot over. If you need to watch this a couple of times, you can. Just like with the other steps of perspective, once you do this a couple of times, it'll be easier to get the hang of it. Okay, so now I've got gap here, and then gap in between my windows. So I'm just going to shade them real quick. Window, 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 window. So I can have them straight across like that. I can have them alternate, whatever you want to do. So I think I'm going to have these ones kind of skip down a little bit. Again, you can arrange these windows however you want. So I'm just quickly shading in so you can see what my windows look like. And now I'm going to go in and start erasing. So all the lines in the middle that aren't part of my windows, I'm going to erase those. And then these little lines on the outside, I'm going to erase those. And then the lines in between each one of the windows. More than likely, you're going to lose some of your lines. So you can line your ruler back up and go back over each of your lines of the windows to make them pop out better. So I'm just doing that real quick. So you can see my windows starting to come together a little bit more. We do the same thing on the bottom and the tops. Again, I'm just going over every one of my lines that I've already made, so I want to make sure I'm keeping them in perspective, going back to that vanishing point. Okay, so I've got windows like this. Like I said, you can do windows like this. You could do a really big window. You can do wider windows. You can do windows that are like this. It just depends on what you want your building to look like. Okay? And then if you wanted to put maybe some curves on the top of here, I'm going to make my little line for my height. And then I'm going to curve my windows here. I'm going to need to adjust them just a little bit. Trying to go fast with my time that I have with you all. Here we go. So sometimes if you draw from one way, it looks a little off, but then, so I was drawing from the left to the right. Sorry, from the right to the, yes, from the left to the right, but I went from the right to the left, and I got those little details. So I could put those details in between. Like I said, whatever you want to do. I could also come in, you can also flip your paper around. Maybe I want to do a border like that. And that's how you got your windows. Really quickly, here's how you can do bricks. We're on the left side, so I'm going back to the left vanishing point. So maybe I want to do a bunch of really thin bricks. So it's the same thing as before. Keep your ruler on that vanishing point. I'm just making a bunch of lines. As you're moving down, more than likely your ruler is going to move. So once I'm moving, I'm looking back at that vanishing point to make sure it hasn't moved. If you're worried about your lines kind of not being perfect, you can take your ruler and line it up with like all the centimeters and millimeters. Make like little tick marks on the side, and you can get your lines really perfect. But for now, for this video, I just want to show you how to make some bricks here. Okay, so I made all these. Now to make bricks, you're just going to make a bunch of straight vertical lines. So I'm going to kind of space them out. Bricks are like rectangles here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got bricks. Now you're going to draw a line in the middle of all of these. Like that. And you're just going to keep alternating. Just right in the middle. Make sure those lines are straight vertical and they're not crooked. So I'm going really fast for time. You're just going to go nice and slow and take your time. So it's really repetitive. So I've got bricks going there. Maybe another type that you could do would be just to kind of darken one of these and alternate them. Because we're going to use colored pencils and shading, drawing pencils at some point. So maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to go in and do like some different patterns. So you could leave it like this. You could just go straight up and down. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do it. Okay? So this video is to show you how to make doors, different types of windows, and some wall textures. You can make whatever you want. Just remember, on the left side, anything you draw goes back to the left vanishing point. Anything you draw on the right side goes back to the right vanishing point. Feel free to go back and rewatch and pause. And good luck.